This is extreme meteorologist Reed Timmer live from the Hoover, Alabama area ahead of an active period for severe weather beginning as early as this afternoon, ahead of a potential tornado outbreak tomorrow across a large swath of the Mid-South. Very moist out here today. Dew points are surging. Low-level jet is expected to develop through the day today. A relatively modest low-level jet at about 30 to 35 knots, but that still is sufficient to generate low-level shear over top low-level southerlies or southeasterly winds to generate some tornadoes. Some of those short-range models have been showing a couple of renegade supercells to develop from central Mississippi through central to northern Alabama this afternoon into the evening hours, and those storms do have an outside chance of an isolated tornado or two. I was thinking about racing off to the northwest toward northern Mississippi or western Tennessee or even northeastern Arkansas to position myself for the tornado outbreak anticipated tomorrow, but I've decided to hang in this area for the threat of those renegade supercells that could develop along a differential heating boundary as that moisture starts to surge to the north. Eventually, these low-level clouds are expected to clear across southern and central Mississippi into central and southern Alabama to the south of that boundary, and right on the northern edge of that deep pool of moisture, that's where a couple of renegade supercells could evolve. Nothing to panic about during the day today, but just stay tuned to that weather radio. Stay tuned to severe weather watches and warnings. But a more substantial outbreak is anticipated tomorrow as a major low-level jet is expected to develop of 50 to 70 plus knots, stretching from northeastern Louisiana across the entire state of Mississippi, western Alabama, western and central Tennessee, all the way up into the southern portion of Kentucky. It does look like there's going to be an abundance of precipitation overnight tonight through tomorrow morning that could limit the northward advance of that warm front. That's really the saving grace for those areas further north, like Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois. But I still think with a 70-knot low-level jet, that warm front's very likely to surge much further north than some of the recent model guidance is showing. So really anywhere from the lower Mississippi River Valley all the way up to the Ohio River Valley, areas off to the east need to keep an eye out, because anytime you have a 50 to 70 knot southwesterly low-level jet over relatively weaker southerly low-level winds and abundance of surface-based instability over multiple states, even covering double-digit numbers of states, and you have a massive tandem trough ejection with a closed low getting kicked out in front of it and ejecting across the warm sector, bringing with it an elevated mix layer as well that's going to spread over top this pool of moisture, generating substantial instability. So certainly stay tuned over the next 24 to 36 hours across a vast majority of the Mid-South for that tornado potential, with a drastic increase in the number of storms capable of producing tornadoes from today till tomorrow. So stay safe, everybody, and dominate the storm.